Well, gentlemen, you either die a virgin or live long enough to see yourself leave the chat. And I was like,
all right. Welcome back to the second episode of the CT scan. My name is Clyn.
And I'm Tanner.
We had a really fun time making it last time, so here we are again for a second episode.
Round 2, baby. We got a special guest on today. He's male. He's our age. He's Justin Mecham. Oh, crap, I said his last name.
It's okay, it's not my full name. Not all four of them.
It's not all four of his names.
Hello, Tools.
What's up, Justin? How's it going today?
It's going pretty good.
Right on. So we decided to have Justin on because he asked us after he watched our first episode.
I'm the #1 fan. Since I saw his Instagram
probably.
story, I watched it.
Well, we had a big list of people. We figured Justin would be a good one to have on right away, you know?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and probably because he's the only one that listened to our podcast all the way through. So.
Yep. Except when you talked about yourself, Clyn. But,
Okay.
All right.
Well, enough about Clyn then. Say something about yourself.
My name is Justin Mecham, as mentioned before. I was born on Halloween, fun fact. I play Frisbee and volleyball. I enjoy podcasts, but I've only listened to one, but I've been on 3. That's probably why I like them, just because I like being on them.
An attention whore.
Yes, very much. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, that's pretty much me. You guys have any questions for...
Do you want a bev?
I would love a beverage. May I please have one?
Did you like some Ready Whip by chance?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. I don't think that's going down very easily.
I forgot I had gum in my mouth.
That's that Walmart has to offer.
For those of you not watching this on YouTube, we just sprayed a can of whipped cream into Justin's cup and he tried to drink it.
If you would like to hear it closer, here's it again.
I didn't want to drink that much.
Well,
Oh, well.
that's okay.
All right.
It's really good when you get like some lemonade, a little bit of like a strawberry syrup, and you mix it in with whipped cream.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever tried that beverage
Yeah.
before.
it's kind of really good. Made it one time in class.
One time.
So we kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about Frisbee. And
Frizz.
You mentioned that you played Frisbee and volleyball, which around here are not very common.
That's true. I mean, like, they are, like, super common. They have a bunch of people play it, but, like, most people don't know those people. Like, if you ask somebody what they play, they're probably going to say a different sport than Frisbee, like either chess or track or something like that. Because Frisbee is usually a secondary sport, but, like, I'm, like, one of 7 people at my high school that it's their primary sport. you know? So, like, it is common, but it's definitely, like, not people's priority, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, everyone has played Frisbee before.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And, but not very many people pursue Frisbee.
I mean, we all had the crappy PE ultimate Frisbee class with the really crappy rules that I know you probably hate.
Yeah, I actually love those
Fun
rules.
fact, I played with him back in our 6th grade days.
Yes.
When we won state.
It was state. It was a
state.
junior high state, and we won.
That's what's up.
Hey, that's awesome.
It was
I
pretty
know.
fun. We had like
patronize me.
2 9th graders on our team, which technically wasn't allowed, but they like were our age, so they counted it. But I mean, we didn't really need them. We could have won without them.
Yeah.
We beat like Lone Peak, which has won like
Everything.
everything for all the years they've been around. We
So-
beat them by like 10 points. It was great.
Light work.
So could you see yourself doing this, kind of making this into a career, whether it's like professional or, kind of bringing the sport back to Utah and maybe making a league or something?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Really?
Like I'm gonna play professional, but they get like $50 a game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
There-
like,
there
you
is
could
a
see
league,
yourself.
though.
That's how much you get paid for reffing almost.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
exactly. And so like I'm pretty sure the officials of the sport, well, I mean technically there's no officials, but they're called observers, and like the professional league have them. I'm pretty sure they make more than the players do. But I mean I don't know if that's the same with like any real
Wait,
sport.
they make more than the players do?
I'm pretty sure.
Dang.
I've always thought that was a really cool aspect of Frisbee, how there's no like ref.
Yeah.
They
It
kinda
it can be troublesome at times because obviously people are gonna have different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Or some people are just tools. And
yeah,
like to call fouls.
you'll get a lot of those outside of Utah. But like there's this spirit of the game aspect. Where,
Okay,
like you
yeah.
respect everyone on the field, you respect everyone's views on the field. And if you just want to contest something, like if someone says, "Oh, you totally hit my hand," but you're like, "No, I totally hit the disc," and then you're like, "All right, I guess we're not agreeing. Let's bring it back," and then you bring it back. So it can be frustrating at times because you can totally like see either somebody else on the field that like had the wrong perspective but made the like crappy call, and you're just like, dude, why'd you do that? Because like we have to acknowledge their call. So it can be frustrating, but I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, yeah. I've always, I've almost found it to be more fun when I'm playing pickup basketball and there's no ref versus playing in a league where there are refs that suck, you know? Because
or even if refs that are good, because like if they're good, you're like, dang it, you saw that, you know?
Yeah, uh-huh. And you know, when you play pickup, it's all about, you know, like you said, the spirit of the game.
Right.
And it's about getting playing time in, you know, not watching some guy shoot free throws for half of the game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Literally all our past basketball games.
Yeah.
So many free throws.
That is true.
Hey, without those, we'd probably lost.
So do you get nervous before your games? Like,
oh, yeah.
Do you feel the nerves?
Of course. Like, I'm so nervous for this season already, and it's like 2 months away.
Okay. Do you feel a lot of pressure, like, on you, you know?
Yeah.
Like to perform? I
mean, I don't need to, like, brag, but, like, to say it the least, like, I'm the best player on our team.
Well, I assumed as much.
Yeah, but just because there's not a lot of talent at our school for Frisbee. I mean, of course, we have talented people like you two lovely individuals.
I know you've been begging me to hop back on the team this season.
Yeah, I have. And when you said you were playing lacrosse last episode, what the heck, man?
I don't think I'm going to play lacrosse.
Frisbee first, come on.
No. I'll climb before I do lacrosse.
Okay, so he's not doing anything.
So what do you do kind of to cope with those, especially, you know, like moving in an hour or two before the game when they're the most intense? Do you have, you know, a ritual or something that you do to calm down?
I don't really have anything to calm myself down. I usually just like think like, okay, I can perform when I'm nervous. Just get over it, you know?
Yeah, just focus.
Kind of mind over matter.
Yeah, like I don't know, something that helps is like think of a past time where like I've succeeded on my nerves, you know? And like, okay, if I can do that before, why can't I do it now?
Yeah, okay.
Totally.
So walk me through like the warm-up process, you know, an hour or two before the game. What?
It's like 30 minutes before the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
because it's a sport where you're going to be running the whole time, so if you actually warm up that much earlier, you're going to get tired throughout like the first half.
Okay. So what do you do to warm up? Do you just stretch?
Yeah, take a lap, and then you do some plyometrics, and then like the most important thing for the entire warm up is throwing. Because your first 10 throws are your worst throws.
Okay.
Like if you don't throw before the game and you just go in cold, you will mess up.
Well, that's interesting. I've always noticed that when I, you know, shoot a basketball, my first couple of shots are off.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So.
You have to get those first ones out.
Totally.
And like one thing that me and my old buddy Kirill, before we would warm up, like we were the Stockton to Malone is what my mother would call us. But we would always throw to each other at warm up, and like every time we would just throw it straight into the ground because it happens. Like you have those off throws, and we'd be like, well, glad to get it out now. And it's so true. Like if you get it out in the warm ups, you feel so much better throughout the game because you're like, boom, I already made my mistakes. There's no more to be made.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like, you know, on the opposite side of cross country, you know, with running, there's not much to do to get rid of the nerves. You know?
Yeah. I'll run faster.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really. I feel like I don't really like get rid of them until I start racing. Because once you're racing, it's like, you know, what could go wrong? You know, all I have to do is push myself.
Just don't trip.
Honestly, worst case scenario, I feel like with running is just getting hit with the poop quakes middle of the run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've actually found almost that having to pee, not poop. Pooping would suck.
Yes.
But having to pee almost helps me because I feel like I focus on that rather than the pain I'm in while
I literally had this thought this morning. I was making a video, but I had to go pee beforehand. I'm like, no. Having to go pee kind of gives me a bit of a drive and almost like a bit of energy to work quicker.
Yeah, it's
because like once I peed, I've
mode.
like relaxed a little bit. I would work as hard. I'm like, I'm not gonna pee all morning till I finish this video, and I didn't.
That is.
And I got it done by noon.
Have you peed since then? Like,
oh yeah, totally.
Oh okay.
Of course. No.
So I wonder if there's any research.
I gotta relax for this.
The effects of having to pee, like in a performance, you know, and how it might, you know, either raise your senses or inhibit them.
Well, honestly, sometimes when, like, before I go out for a competition, I feel as if, like, I have to go to the bathroom, and that's just, like, a nervous bladder. And, like, whenever the nerves hit me, it usually feels like I have to go pee sometimes. And I was like, bro, I went, like, 5 minutes ago. What's up with this? But I feel like that's just kind of, like, how nerves hit certain people sometimes. And when you actually have to go, I feel like there might be a point where it does hinder you.
Yeah, okay. So kind of going back to Frisbee here. So take me back a little further. So what would you say is the most important thing you can do the day before?
The day before?
Yeah.
Rest.
Really?
Carb load. It's basically just like any other sport. Like,
Okay.
There's not like a certain thing that will enhance your Frisbee game. I mean, you could watch film before, but like that's really not gonna make you like learn something new the day before, you know?
Yeah, you kind of have to like adapt it into your actual training.
Yeah, and like I watch film a ton during the season because like that's when college is actually happening right now, and so like BYU, they're doing great this season. They're ranked second in the nation, which is insane because like BYU, like who are they? You know what I'm saying? And they actually beat UNC, which has like won nationals for like many years. Actually, I think Carl took one a few years ago. But yeah, so this is probably going to be their best season yet. And it's just super good to watch them because like you need to see what they're doing and what they're doing right. And so you could do that the night before just to like review, but you definitely don't want to learn anything the night before.
Okay.
So yeah, it's basically just rest and carb load.
Yeah. I could see that, you know, with running, I wouldn't want to change my form, you know, the night before.
Oh,
yeah.
Really. You just kind of like fall into your mindset, like fall into the muscle memory, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I apologize, by the way, for my cough. I've been trying to stifle that. But
do you have any weird rituals, like strange things you do beforehand?
Yeah, superstitions?
I know I definitely do.
Honestly,
really weird things.
No.
Like just like little small things like beforehand. Like even like a wind up or certain things you do just like beforehand, like what do I do? And there's just like certain ways like before a competition, like I'll sit a certain way in the chair or something
Really?
like that. Like at the competitions I always sit with my arms back like this.
Oh, I've seen that picture.
And like I always do that. That was because like I did that and then I did really good on my next round. I'm like, dang, I'm gonna sit like this every time now. I mean, obviously it's like superstition, but it just kind of helps me relax a lot more. And I used to take an ice bath before every time, and kind of just like in the dark too. And I would just kind of
that's
focus. It's really weird.
Yeah, so some people are really superstitious with the things they do.
Well, it wasn't really for superstition. It was more of just kind of like training my mind just a little bit more,
Okay,
and just
to get
helping it
into
like
the
fall
zone.
into like a focus state, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah. That's only before like really big ones I would do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I really have any of those. I mean, the only thing I'm really superstitious about is holding up your hands for a free throw in basketball.
Oh yeah.
You know? I do a different one for every single player, and I mean, honestly, it's more successful than it's not. So.
That's what I've been doing. Like whenever it gets really intense, I put it up and I put my head down and I don't watch. I haven't watched a free throw in so long because I always just put my head down. I'm like,
oh, that's funny.
Did you watch the one at the blue and white game where they sat on the rim and then fell in?
oh yeah.
Okay, so your eyes were open for that one. Okay,
I saw that one.
That one was nuts.
But it's just like dead clutch.
I mean, there's one thing we do kind of as like just a group, not really like as a team, but just like few people in the team that wear hats. We do forwards for defense and then backwards for offense.
Oh, really?
Because like each point you either start on offense or defense.
Oh, okay.
And so like it's not really a superstition thing, but like I actually thought about it and it's like it kind of makes sense. Like you want to put the hat backwards for offense so you can see the whole field. Because I usually play the handler position, and then forwards for defense, so you focus on your one person. And I mean, it could be superstition, but like it also kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't really say I'm that superstitious about the game because if I do, then I don't want to blame it on anything but myself.
Exactly.
You know. And so
sorry.
What was your question?
Well, I was just wondering, do you have any like religious things that you do before?
We would pray sometimes as a team. Like the starting line would just kneel down and say a quick prayer. But
so, as a follow-up, do you think it helps?
I feel like it's a good way to like, okay, this is the time to focus, and like if you believe in religion, then obviously have faith that you'll get helped. But I feel like a personal prayer would mean a little bit more. Like, yeah, the team prayer brings you together, but like a personal prayer, you're not doing it just to say a prayer for the team. You're like doing it like, hey, I actually need help, you know?
Yeah. What about you, Tanner? Do you do anything like that?
So the only times I've really remembered it, I usually just say like just small like prayers in my heart just to myself, normally because I'm warming up by myself, and they're usually just kind of like, okay, just help me to like focus in and just like do my best and just like, I don't know, just dial in. And the one time that I was like really focusing on it, I totally screwed up during it, and I was like really frustrated, and like, but then again, you know, like I don't really blame it anything on like God or anything like that. I just kind of like, okay, I messed up, you know, when that happens, and it wasn't that big of a deal necessarily. I mean, I was bummed out for sure, but you can't always be perfect.
Yeah.
So I usually just say it, just kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it's nice to ask for a little bit of help and credit the man, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, as a cross country team, we would pray before every race, and this last year I would try to like right after I would say my own individual prayer, and I don't know if it helped.
I mean, well, because like by praying, you're not automatically gonna gain like massive strength or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, like if you didn't train for it, like God's not gonna just give it to you right away.
Exactly.
You know? Like
Yeah.
I usually just ask him like help me to like dial in, focus, and really put my best effort out there, so I can walk away being proud of what I did. You know, like that was my best. You know?
And it's
not like
mostly,
where the heck did that come from?
It's mostly a prayer of like please don't let me get hurt, and let me have fun, and a lot of the nerves too for me at least is they go away with that. So yeah, it's not worthless, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I have had one of those experiences where like it literally was like, where did that come from? Like this one time, it was at state, I believe, or was that a different tournament? I can't remember, but it was my sophomore year. So the first team at my high school had their own team because before it was like a joined one with Orem and Mountain View and PG. And so this was like the first time in Timpanogos, and we like had to make a statement. And we ended up finishing like 6th in the state, which is not bad for like a first year team that didn't have a real coach.
Yeah.
And so, we were playing at this tournament, and I was going deep, and McKay, one of our handlers, threw a really like deep bomb, and it was like floating for a while. And this is like called the sky battle. It's like where you guys both go up in the air, and whoever gets it, gets the point. The other person got skied. And I literally have never jumped this high before, but I felt something in my left leg, and it wasn't even like a good approach. Like I was literally sprinting, and I jumped mid-sprint, and I jumped like a second before, and a second's huge because the disc can drop like at least 5 feet in a second.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like I jumped a second before the other dude, just off of my sprinting stride. My left calf, I felt it enlarge, like it literally shot up, and I jumped, and we looked. My dad got a picture of it. We looked back, and we like tried to calculate how much, and like no joke, I probably got like 11 feet.
Wow.
Like reaching, and you guys know, like I can barely hit rim if I hit rim like every one jump in 25. Like I barely hit rim, and so like I jumped higher. My hip was on his head.
No way.
Yeah, and he was jumping too, and I like caught it, landed, and the guy just looked at me, and he's like, what the just happened? And the other guy, I like told the other guy who was running back, he's like, how did you do that? I was like, bro, my calf just exploded. But I like suffered no pain, and we didn't end up winning that game, but like that still has been like the highlight of my career. Like
that's crazy.
It was the most insane
That's
jump
really
I've ever
crazy.
had.
Oh yeah.
It was nuts.
I feel like we all have kind of defining moments, of our career or sport, whatever it might
totally.
be,
I mean, what would be one for you?
Well, for running, I would say when we swept the Payson Night Hunt, it was this really small race, but we had these runners we were kind of like worried about, and we wanted to go 1 through 5 and hopefully 6, 7, and so we kind of like drew out this plan for what we were going to do, and we executed it perfectly, and we went 1 through 6 that race, and then I think our 7th guy was still in the top 10, so that was really awesome. It was just a culmination of all of our, not only for me on the individual side, but for our team, as all of our hard work just came together. So
Totally.
Yeah, what about you?
I don't know. I don't have anything as crazy as that where I'm really like, where the heck did that come from? But about a year ago, when I started training speed climbing again, my current PR at the beginning of the year was a 9.55. And when you're down that low in seconds, like only 10 seconds long, any little bit of trimming off of time is like huge, like really big gain. So I had been training it for like 2 weeks or so, and I could tell like I was getting a little bit faster, and we got the timer out. And I think my first run that day, I was just like maybe a 10th of a second off from my PR from the beginning of the season. I'm like, okay, this is sick.
Really?
Like I'm really close.
Yeah.
My next run, I shaved off a whole half second, and I got
my
9.02. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, this could be the day I sub 9 seconds. And not only did I sub like 9 seconds, I got an 8.55.
Wow.
So I shaved off a whole second, which is like 10% of my old PR. So I was going nuts that day. It was crazy. Like everyone was losing their mind.
Is 8.55 still your record?
Yeah, that's still my PR.
Okay.
So maybe I'll sub 8 this year and actually train. But
Maybe
yeah, that was a really cool moment.
All right.
way
Well,
too
we're
many
kind of
freebies.
running out of
Yeah, I
time
know.
here. But one thing I wanted to talk about was the Bachelor Club.
The Bachelor
Yeah.
Club.
Good old batch.
So us three actually, we were sitting in English, and I just had a moment of clarity. Well, actually, I had a moment of disgust where I was like, I'm so sick of like these guys going with girlfriends and like me not having a girlfriend this entire school year, and how that's like almost discouraged, or not discouraged, but like you're made fun of it almost. You know what I mean?
Kind of
And
like,
I was
wow, this guy can't get any ladies.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, guys, let's start a Bachelor Club.
No, okay, because there's a sophomore who's always been bugging me. He's like, dude, you don't have any game anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, busy. Just making
I'm
videos
trying to
now. I don't remember. I forgot that it was us that like all made it together.
Yeah, yeah.
We're the
So
co-founders.
yeah, and so now it's almost like a thing of pride to not have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But Justin here,
Ooh.
he had some sad news. Would you like to share, or should I?
I want to consider it sad news.
Put it quite nicely.
Well, yeah. Let me read something real quick. So the Bachelor Club. One thing we say whenever we add somebody in who doesn't have a girlfriend or recently broke up with their girlfriend, we'll say welcome virgins, right? And like, I mean, it's just a fun club. It's just like we talk about random stuff. We
get together, play kickball, you know.
Dodgeball.
is
Not that
best.
those with girlfriends are excluded at those times, but we always plan it in the Bachelor's Club.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
say, hey, this guy has a girlfriend, but we'd like him to come. Let's
Still
invite
come,
him.
I guess, you know.
Tell him to not bring his lady, though. You know?
course.
Yeah.
It's pretty exclusive, but this one time I was at a private birthday party for one of my friend's cat, and it was at a Classic Fun Center where I work.
One of your friends' cat.
One of my friends named Cat. Sorry.
Want to make sure people understand.
Imagine that, a cat on roller skates. That'd be
Yeah.
incredible. But anyways, I was skating around, and I saw this girl who was skating like incredibly well, and I'm like a pretty good skater. I mean, I work there, so I kind of have to be, but like I'm not like nearly as top notch as this lady that I met. And so I was like, I should probably like talk to her, but then she talked to me first, so it made it a lot easier. And I kind of decided that like this would be the first time that I would ask a girl for a number, because other times it's usually just like, hey, can I get your number for the science project? Hey, can I get your number because I need to play game pigeon games with you? You know,
Yeah, totally.
the huge. But like this time I was like, hey. Her name is Faith, by the way. I was like, hey, Faith, can I get your number? And then she was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, sick. Let me grab my iPod. And so, like, at that moment when, like, I found out, like, I was fine, like, telling her, like, stuff that, like, I'm kind of insecure about. Because, I mean, like, cool people have phones, right? And, but, like, I don't know. I feel like me and her, we just, like, clicked. We didn't, like, have to, like, waste any time of, like, figuring out, like, if we like each other or not. Because we're both like, all right, you're cool. I think you're cool. You think I'm cool. Like,
Let's be cool together.
get to the fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? No, just kidding. But
Yeah,
so
this
we
is all very shameful, by the way.
and so we met on a Saturday, and then we hung out like an entire week. And I didn't say anything to the Bachelor Club because I was like kind of scared to leave. You know, like
Yeah.
like co-founder.
One of the co-founders.
If he leaves, like no one's safe.
Yeah, that's literally what I was saying.
Yeah. And so school started up the next week, and one of my friends, Calvin, was like, bro, I know what you've been doing. Because, like, he met Faith one of the days, and he was like, wait, do you, like Faith? I was like, bro, yeah. And then he's like, bro, I'm writing this message right now. And he actually wrote a text on the Bachelor Club, but didn't send it. And he was like, it brings me no pleasure to say this, but one of our members is no longer living the Bachelor life. And he had that written. I was like, bro, me and Faith haven't even DTR'd yet. Just give me a few days. And so, I DTR'd with Faith, and then we made it official. And then I wrote this text. And first Calvin sent his, and then I was like, well, gentlemen, you either die a virgin or live long enough to see yourself leave the chat. And I was like, but bros, please don't forget about me. I still want to be with you guys and play kickball with all of you. Thank you for the memes. I'll miss you, bros. And then I was like, love you. And then I left. And so I didn't get kicked out.
I was literally so shocked.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
came out of
me
nowhere because
too.
like no one knew about it that much, and it was dropped that bomb and left. And then
coming.
and I was in Calvin's class, and so he showed me like what everyone was saying afterwards, and it was kind of like an emotional moment, honestly, because it's like I will no longer like be with these bros, but like I'll still be with these bros, but like
Of course.
Yeah.
you know, no longer in the chat.
The
But
chat has not been the same since.
I
It's a lot
kind
quieter
of
in
expected that. But I mean, I've honestly enjoyed it. Like faith is nice. It's
Yeah.
nice having someone who like is your number one and they're your number one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm not mad.
More than a Nick Mo.
Yeah, more than a Nick Mo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've ggot on pretty long.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
long,
Thanks for
pal.
being with us, Justin.
Of course, anytime.
Appreciate it.
Right on.
Right on. So tune in next week, I guess.
Yeah.
I've had a really fun time making these. So yeah.
I've
It's
had
been
a
my
fun time
pleasure.
besides trying to figure out how to upload them, but we're all good now. So no more
Yeah.
troubles on my part. Almost uploaded it 6 different times.
Yeah, I haven't really been doing anything on that, so thanks to Tanner a lot. All right.
All right. Good stuff.
Have a good one.
We out.